Good morning. So, in case you didn't hear, GME is GME is popping back up. Yesterday in pre-market, it made a big move. I mean, after hours, it made a big move. It was curling up here at the end of the day, and then it made it up to $200. I am in a position here at 157.29. It just did a big breakout that I got in for here at 157, and I'm watching it here. It's a pretty safe price for me to hold on these dips. Normally I don't trade stocks like this. This is much higher priced, but I got in on a good setup here, and I'm just gonna see what we can get with this one trade on GME. I don't know if I'll actually trade it much throughout the day, but for this one trade here pre-market, I am jumping on GME here. My account, I'm doing my small account challenge, and I made about $2,100 yesterday, but my account got charged a $232 monthly fee. So I think I added $1,900 to my account from yesterday's balance. So I'm at, you can see right here, well, you can't see it, but I'll move my video here. You can see that my account is now at $16,609. So I am in this with my full account, 101 shares of GME at an average price of $157.29. It's up $10 from my price right now, doing a nice flag here on the 5-minute chart, and it looks like we're going to be breaking up over that shortly. The high of the last 5-minute candle is 171.71, so I am watching for it to continue up here. If we look at the pre-market trading here, and after hours yesterday, it hit 200, and it also hit 194. That was yesterday after hours, and right now it is just under the all-time high pre-market of 172. So a break up over 172 should see a pretty good move upwards. My plan on my position here is to hold it here, not stop out if it's pulling back too much unless it's coming to my price, and see what this stock does, because I don't have any idea where it's going to get on the day, and it could go up a lot. We've seen this stock all the way up to $500 here a couple weeks ago. So it's coming down to 166, 165 here. I'll put the gap scanners up here just above my video so you can see, as well as GME, GameStop. We have KOSS, KOSS, has been kind of trading alongside GME, and it's not making the same move here. So it's not really trading the same exact way as GME, which it has in the past. So I can short GameStop, I can't short KOSS. So currently up about $900 here on GME, unrealized profit, and up $9 per share. Just waiting for this bull flag to do a breakout, ideally to the upside. So this blue line here, 157.29, is my average price. So you can see where I got in right here on the 5-minute chart. It came up here. I took a small starter up here at 160, and then I bought more down here. And for this breakout, immediately within 4 or 5 minutes, had $10 per share on this stock. So this is very different from the normal moves I'm looking for. My average winning trade is around 25 cents per share. So I use larger share size and capitalize on smaller moves on smaller cap stocks. But here today, GameStop is stealing the show. Good morning, Robert and Whiskey Trading, and good morning, Kiroti. Sorry if I mispronounced any of your names. So here the high of this last 5-minute candle, 171.71, and we have 22 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. Morning, Jacob. Morning, YT Swami 200. Can you guys tell me what the lag is on this video? I'm hoping it's around 2 or 3 seconds. So if you just look at the time up here and tell me how much it's lagging from real time, I'd like to know. So this looks like a really good setup for continuation on GameStop. That's a breakout here to the upside. I don't have any kind of strategy for where I'm going to be taking profit right now, just because, you know, this stock is nuts. Who knows, maybe it will go back up to 500. So if you know, if you have any friends that are interested in GameStop and seeing what it does today, bring them over to this channel, because I'll probably have it up on the charts most of the day here. No promises. So we have 4 minutes until the market opens. GameStop making new highs pre-market. So some of the levels we want to keep an eye on just from yesterday are 194 and exactly 200. So my only objective this trade is to not lose money. This is definitely a home run trade. So I'm not bunting this. I'm swinging for the fences. So it's doing a healthy 1-minute pullback here on the 1-minute charts. So what is this going to do when the market opens? It could just rip higher immediately. It could come flashing down, or there could be a huge battle here and tons of volume, and it doesn't really move a whole lot, but there is room for it to do a pullback here for sure. So if it does that, my only goal is get out of it, green on the trade. And if it dips below my price, still get out of it. No holding and hoping on this one. So that is actually a failed 5-minute breakout there, because we had this flag, then it broke out over the price of this last 5-minute candle, and now it's coming back down here. So coming back 50% of the way to my price here. But the movement, or the setups that I'm looking at on, $5 stocks, $10 stocks, $2 stocks, which is what I'm trading on a daily basis, I don't know how applicable they can be to GameStop, because there's some considerable differences and different players in the game here at the table here for GameStop. A lot more money involved here than the stocks I'm usually trading. So the market is open. Watching here to see what GameStop does. 150, 160. Okay, it dropped down there, and my charts aren't really showing what it's doing here. So it's right above my price here, looking for it to rip higher. It dropped down and basically almost tapped the VWAP. I'm ready to mark it out of this order if need be. Mark it out of this position. So coming down here, testing the VWAP here, risky business. So I want to see it rip higher off the VWAP. Nope, so I'm going to stop out here. Just got to manage my risk on this one. So a $500 loss isn't a huge deal for me. And definitely could have taken some profit on this one, but it's very experimental and volatile for me to be trading this one, because it's $170 and it's GameStop. So not a big deal there. If I stuck it out, it probably will continue higher today, but I don't know. So I am gonna keep watching this one to see what it does here. $170 is a significant level here. You can see how it did the failed breakout there at 170. If it gets back up to there, it could have a nice rip higher. So it's above the VWAP here, but some downward pressure at the market open on GameStop. I can short GameStop, also risky business. So I'll probably wait, 5, 10, 15 minutes and see what it's really doing here after the market open. I am interested in shorting ASLN, so I'm going to pull that up for a second here. This one announced an offering of it got $18 million investment at an average price of $3.55 or something like that. Let's see here. Average price or $3.52. So I don't really see this one coming up much. I'm gonna take a small short on it here with 1,000 shares at $4.18. So it came down here to market open, and now it's pulling up a little bit here, and just watching this one. If I am on the wrong side of this stock, I'll get out. Let's see. $4.50. So what's GameStop doing? Did it halt? Yep, so GameStop halted a minute and a half ago. So did COS. So just watching ASLN here. It doesn't have a ton of volume, 673 shares on the day. If it comes up to 450, I'll stop out. So there's a huge spread here on ASLN, which makes it riskier when I short it on the so watching this, it tapped 450 there, 446. So not the best trade here, but I don't see this stock continuing higher today based on the news. $18 million private placement at an average price of $3.52, and it's up 23% right now. So it's a good thing I got out of GameStop with that move. It came down to 137. With my 101 shares, that would have been a $2,000 loss. So $500, not a big deal. I got ASLN right off the gap scanners here. I was just going down and looking at each of these. There's nothing too interesting aside from GameStop and KOSS. So I just picked this one as a reasonable possibility that it will be coming down today. So I'm stopping out here on ASLN at 449. So let's see. It's going to be important for me today to not pay attention to my P&L here when I'm looking for other good trades, because I don't want to trade my P&L. If if I do that, I might be looking up here and be like, shoot, on this next trade, I want to make $850 and get back to green. $850 is not a huge deal at all. I've been averaging well over that in this small account challenge for my average per day gain and loss. So it's not something to be freaking out about. Let's pull up GameStop just because it resumed. So this one, I would buy 50 shares breaking over 170. That's about it for right now. If it rips up here to this level pre-market, we'll see what it does. But that was a pretty big drop there. But this one is very unpredictable. So watching GameStop here at the VWAP. These are definitely more risky trades than I've been taking. You know, GameStop, it's very crazy. So there's $15 to go here before 170. It's having trouble at the VWAP here, getting any higher. I can short it, so below the low here. So I'm shorting here at 142 for a break in anticipation of it breaking below the low here with 25 shares, nothing crazy on GameStop. So I'm already up $8 per share, $9 per share on this trade, and it's halting, coming down. Well, trying to halt, false halt. So watching it here. It's at my price, 142. Continuing down here. I want to see this thing drop and halt, coming down again. Only in it with 25 shares, which is 21% of my account. Just watching the chart, watching the level 2 coming down. I saw the halt level coming up on the level 2, but it didn't get there. So trying to halt here at 129.04. It's not doing it yet. So it's halted now. So that'll resume in 5 minutes. I have 20% of my account in that trade. We'll see what it does on resumption. I would be looking for a dip down here all the way to 115 or so. but there's no saying what it's going to do. So step back, take a little bit of a mental break. Let's see here, Windows. If any of you guys are trading GameStop, let me know how you're doing. What price you're in at. So KOSS, this one is trading like GameStop, except for that it didn't try and rip higher earlier on here in pre-market. I can't short costs, so not very interested in even watching that one right now. So we'll see what I can do here with 25 shares short on GameStop. I was considering taking my trade here, bouncing off the VWAP. I said I was going to buy it to the long if it broke over 170, but in my head I was also saying if it rejects the VWAP here, I'll get in. And I chickened out because it's GameStop and you never know what it's going to do. And then as it got down here closer to breaking below this candle, I became more comfortable with this move downwards. So I got in right here at 142.39. So that's my price right there for this short position. The trouble with having GameStop and costs, stealing the show today is there's nothing else that I'm really aware of that's gonna be good to trade. I was definitely wrong on ASLN. Let's see this one. So GameStop halted at 542.52. So we have 1 minute until resumption. So let me just pull up ASLN really fast. Yeah, this one could be a good short later on in the day. So I will be watching ASLN to short it after it turns around and starts trending down today. So not taking profit on GameStop burnt me this my first trade, but it's still within the plan, stopping out where I did $500 loss. Not a big deal. My nice winners that have been getting me towards completing my small account challenge here have been several thousands of dollars. $500 losses are normal in my trading like this, so I'm not too concerned. Let's see. 128. Coming down a little bit here. I'm going to buy back those 25 shares right there at 132. So didn't get a super great fill on that, but that's okay. So Took my profit on that trade in case it turned around, and it's ripping down to this price that I said it probably would, 115. And I'm just going to sit back and watch this. This is pretty wild. Halting here at 112.97 potentially. Back here when this was at $200, $300, $400, it wasn't uncommon for this. So you just look here on this day, January 28th, it was going up and down like a seesaw, and it had a low of 112 and a high of 483, not including a high pre-market of 513 something. So there's no saying what it will do today. But right now, definitely looking like overall the market wants it to go down. So haven't managed my trades on GameStop the best, but that's okay. So ASLN, this one that I'm keeping on watch for a short. This is definitely more in line with stocks I trade on a daily basis. And yesterday it closed at $3.52. Right now it's at $5. And it's news. It's pharmaceutical. ASLAN Pharmaceuticals announces 18 million private placement. So this one is very extended here. I'll take a small short position right below $5 here at 498. So this is a more risky entry. I'm just taking this entry based on the fact that it's very extended. So when I do that, I want to keep tighter stops. So my stop on this is going to be 510. When I take entries like this, I'm way more often stopping out on them, but I keep the losses smaller. And then when it does come in my direction, I'm risking, 10, 12 cents on this trade, maybe 15 with the, maybe 15 cents for a potential of about, 35 cents here back to the VWAP. So that's a pretty good ratio of what I could lose to what I could make on this trade. So that's what you always want to look at, is how much could I lose versus how much could I make on this trade. And then you want to try and be right at least 50% of the time. More is better for sure, but you can be right even less than 50% of the time and still be a profitable trader, as long as your winners are twice as big as your losers. So, not exactly gambling. It's gambling if you treat it like gambling. So, stopping out there at 510. Small loss. So, not a big deal as long as you do stop out. If you get into a trade and you're inclined to have such a conviction that you're right, even though the market is telling you otherwise, then you can lose lots of money. If I didn't stop out on GameStop on my long position in pre-market, My average price was 153. I would be down, what is it? What's 153 minus 112? I'd be down $41. So $41 on 100 shares is $4,000. I would be down $4,000 on GME alone if I didn't stop out. So that's something that took me a while to learn. So there, it did the move here that I was looking for on ASLN. I just, had to stop out at 410 to manage my risk. So GameStop resumed, pulling this up. Wow, look at that. Incredible. So all the way down from 170 at the market open to $100 in 25 minutes with two halts to the downside. I'm going to buy it at 110 here if it comes up for the bounce here. So buying here at 109, ready to sell if need be, but it is bouncing up here a little bit, bouncing off the $100 level. My stop will be break even, or around break even. So just 25 shares here. Average price 109.49. It's pushing up on this moving average. It broke down below here. Pushing higher. Trying to halt here at 119.46. 119.43. So it's trying to halt. Alright, GameStop halted. So got in for the bounce here. My price is down here at 109.49 with 25 shares. Not trading with big size here. If I was trying to trade with big size, I could only buy 100 something shares of this. So, but on a stock that's coming down $70 in 25 minutes, 100 shares is a lot for me. And with this account, I don't want to mess up my my equity curve on this small account challenge, playing around with a stock like GameStop. So while it's halted, we can go over this really quick. I just imported my trades from yesterday. So after commissions, net profit and loss, let's see, is at $14,835, and that is over how many trading days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So what's 15,000 divided by 11? And that's how much I'm averaging per day in the small account challenge. So that's pretty good. Pullbacks are normal. Red days are normal. So it's pretty consistent profitability here in the small account challenge. Before yesterday, Wednesdays were, I was red overall on Wednesdays, but yesterday changed that. So now I don't have any theories about my poor performance on Wednesdays for the small account challenge, but we'll definitely have to see what happens on Mondays, because the only Monday I didn't start the small account challenge until this Tuesday, and then this was President's Day, so I'll see what happens with Mondays. Maybe I shouldn't trade on Mondays. Maybe I should have a 3-day weekend every week. But I don't think so, because as a day trader, I don't like the weekends. I would prefer to do this 7 days a week. So most people look forward to the weekend. When the weekend comes around, I get a little bit, a little bit sad. I can't wake up the next morning and trade. So when you enjoy what you're doing, that's a good thing. So this could do a nice, very big like V here and come back up, or it could open up and come shooting down here and make new lows. I'm gonna guess that it's going to come higher because of how big of a move it just had to the downside, but there's no saying, so I'm just going to trade it as it goes. So ASLN, it's still around $5. Let's see. GameStop resumes in a minute here. So ASLN, doing a 5-minute setup here, but it has a bunch of sellers here at the $5 level. So I do have this one up on a different chart, and I will be watching it and potentially getting in it sometime here for a short. But number one, manage the trade I'm in. So watching GameStop. So ready to sell 25 shares. So resumption here all the way up at 125. Nice. Dipping a little bit here. So coming up, let's see if it can get up to 130, 131, that moving average on the 5-minute chart. Just watching. I'm going to get out here. So a little bit of profit there on GameStop for this dip. It'll likely bounce off this moving average and go higher, but a little bit close to my price. I'm not interested in giving back a whole lot more on GameStop. Pretty much break even on GameStop. So I had a really great trade here for this 5-minute breakout pre-market, and held it for the home run in case it continued with the market open, and it didn't. It dropped down, so had a $500 loss, and I've just been, scalping, well, taking small size on this reversal and a short here, so pretty much break even on GameStop. Yeah, there was a big seller there at $5 on ASLN. So I'm just waiting to see how high this one goes. A good entry for me would be breaking below VWAP, which is at 480 right now. So we'll just see how long this one continues up, but The news, not really impressed with the news. I don't think it's going to sustain these levels today. And it has 4 million shares of volume, and the spreads have been getting smaller throughout the day, so that's good for shorting it later on. It just did a 5-minute setup. So GameStop above VWAP. So VWAP is up here at 141 something, 141.62. So it could either bounce off the VWAP and come down, and yeah, Robert, got to get an account that you can short with. So GameStop could bounce off here or up here at 141 and come down, or it could break and go higher. Probably more likely to come down. So this could be a short entry here. So today's fun day, playing around with GameStop, because this doesn't happen very often. So this isn't business day, doing what I do every day. This is fun day, because you won't really see me playing around with stocks over $100 much when I'm day trading. So this is a field trip. So I'm selling here at 126. It looks like it's been, rejecting this level here. If it breaks up over 132, I'm out. But there we got that nice drop, and it will probably come lower here. But I'm not here to predict the future. Just to trade based on what it's doing in real time. So I didn't get the best entry there for this short, but if it comes down, we'll be good. If it doesn't, I'll stop out. So stopping out there below this moving average here on the 1 minute chart. So gave back, I think, $75. Oh no, that was almost $100 in loss there, but not a big deal. If I get down to minus 500 on GameStop again, I'm just going to stop trading it. That'll be enough fun for me on GameStop, and then I'll get down to business looking for my short on ASLN. So I don't mind taking stabs here on these when they're still trending up. Safest bet for me is to get in when it is breaking down below the VWAP. But if I can time the entry up at the highs, that's also a good thing. But it's more risky. it's a bigger risk for a bigger reward, because if I'm shorting at the VWAP's price here is 487. If I could short it up here at 524, that's maybe 527. That's 40 cents extra. So if I get in here and stop out 3 different times with 10-cent losses, but I do get in there, it's still going to be a gain of 10 cents versus waiting for it to come down below the VWAP. So that's why I do like to anticipate moves as long as I keep tight stops. The trouble is, it's a lot easier said than done stopping out when you should. So GameStop trying to break up over this level here, up into the 130s. Can't do it. ASLN moving higher. Let's look at the daily chart on ASLN. So this one, it had some crazy days in December of 2019. Look at that. Wow, all the way up here to 818. So I don't see any significant price levels there. There's a big buyer here on ASLN at 531. So yeah, not a whole lot of levels here on the daily chart for me to look at, except for back here in 2019. We have 480, so 480, and then here 480 as well. So 480 looks like a significant level. So that just happens to be the be close to the VWAP here, but it's so I'm shorting ASLN here with 780 shares at 537. It looks like it's getting kind of extended here on the 1-minute chart. My stop will be 550. So 13 cent. I'm giving it 13 cents of room here. So just taking quick stabs there. Didn't like that. It shot up to 550, so got out. Small losses here and there. Looking for the big short. So it is coming down right here. So didn't execute the timing on that one perfectly, and it only got to a high of 549, but I didn't want to risk it, so it might just be a VWAP day, breaking below VWAP. For the amount of trades I've been taking, not too bad on the day. Yeah, one of the biggest things for me in day trading is learning to not let losses get to me and bother me and affect my trading. Because it's very common to want to make back losses. It's very common to get frustrated when you have losses. It's very common to take more trades, to trade stocks and setups, or a lack of a setup, and just get into stocks because of a feeling, a need to make back the loss. So I'm disconnecting myself from those feelings. I've completely realized that while it's obviously not great when you lose money, you're going to lose money day trading. It's just part of the whole plan. You just have to take the setups. If it doesn't work, you have to get out quickly, and if it does work, you have to let it run a little bit so you can have that win, but you still have to take profit. You want to let it run a little bit so you have to have levels where you think it might be reversing or might be slowing down, but you also want to get some profit off the table to minimize your risk. Just because it's like fun day for me here with GameStop, down $231 on it, but I don't trade stocks like this. I trade stocks like ASLN every day. GameStop, maybe a couple times a year. So certainly tons of opportunity here. It looks like a pretty good short actually here. If it, yep, shorting GameStop. See how it's pushing up on this moving average here and then kind of rejecting it here. So looks like it could be coming down. This candle coming up all the way up here and then coming down below. Either it's gonna be really strong and keep pushing upwards until it breaks through here, or it's just gonna come down. So that's why I shorted it there with 25 shares. My average price is $127.96. So you can see how for the last 15 minutes it would come up here and reject this level, reject this moving average, reject 132, reject 130. So that's why I took this trade. I've set a limit that if I get down over $500 again on GameStop, I'll be done with it for the day. Meanwhile, ASLN is coming down, so I'm also watching that, but it's doing a normal pullback on the ASLN doesn't look. Yeah, it's doing a pretty big pullback here. The VWAP. Let me keep watching GameStop. So I don't want to be in GameStop and ASLN at the same time if possible. But yeah, ASLN, the VWAP is now 498, I believe. So GameStop coming down. So nice on GameStop. Watching ASLN on a different chart. Okay, so ASLN is breaking the VWAP here. I'm not going to get in it right now. I'm just going to let it do its thing and maybe come up and test the VWAP or bounce off of it to the long side. There's still plenty of room for me to trade ASLN after this move here. So GameStop kind of rolling over here just a little bit. We'll see if it can continue this curve and come down. That's good. 25 shares doing me some good in this trade. Having a little bit of FOMO here on ASLN, so I'm just letting it come down here, see what it does. If it comes back up towards 495, could get in. But we don't want to trade based on, you know, being unhappy with missing out on a move and trying to make up for it and get into it later. So I'm just trading it based on what I'm seeing here. If it's broken below the VWAP, and it you can see I had the right idea on my entries there up at, you know, 536. That would have been an incredible trade, but just didn't time it right and had tight stops to manage risk, which is all part of the plan. So what I'm going to do is get out of GameStop here, and I'm just going to transfer over to ASLN so I can capitalize on this one. So I just put out an order to sell 1,000 at 496 if it gets up there, and I'm shorting here at 490. So I'm actually short 1,700 shares at 490 on ASLN. That's half of my account. This one breaking below the VWAP is definitely a sign that it's weak. You can see that big move down here gave back all of this 5-minute breakout. It could come all the way up to $4.99, $5, and test the VWAP. And if it does that, I'm probably just going to be adding, because this one has a lot of room to come down, and it's below the VWAP. So just watching here on ASLN. My stop on this one is $5.10. I'm giving it some room here. Maybe $5.12, just so if it can come up and tap this moving average on the 1-minute chart, go over it a little bit and come back down, if it even goes up that much. Chances are it won't, but you never know. So my average price is $4.88, which isn't the best here, and it's entirely possible to come up and test. So I'm not adding here. I'm just waiting. Waiting for it to come up and test 492, 499. If it doesn't, that's okay. If it does, that's okay too. Everything's all good. A little bit red on the day, but I'm not letting it affect my mindset here. So a logical place for this to bounce would be here around 470. So I'm going to take off half here at 470 or 475. So if it bounces off this, I can get in at a better price, or just ride lower with a smaller position. So I'm got out here at 470 on that move lower. 860 shares short. It broke down below that level. So this one's moving down pretty hard here. I wonder if it is going to come back up and test, or if it's just gonna continue lower here. So here on a field trip day for GameStop, getting back in my normal type of trading here on ASLN. So this one looks like it is wanting to bottom out around 460, but you never know. I hope it does. I hope it does, and I hope it pulls all the way back to the VWAP, and I would put a whole bunch more money in this trade if it does that. But to get in down here is extended. If I added to my trade here, it would have to, if it came up about 10 cents, I'd be break even on the trade. So I don't want to do that. That's not good good practice to get in when it's too extended here. CDXC, I'll look at it. Nice. What's the news on CDXC? Is there anything? ASLN coming lower. So CDXC, interesting for sure. I would be interested in it to the short side. Phase 3 study for COVID. So we'll see what that one does. Thanks for alerting me to it, Robert. I was I really have a tendency to just ignore the scanners here. It was on my scanner right there, but completely ignored that one. I didn't see it. I get tunnel vision on the stocks I'm looking at and don't really pay attention to if anything better is showing up. So ASLN here, big sellers right around 460, 458 here, trying to hold this level. It might just continue lower, but they're getting bought up there. So I do think that it could pull up here, maybe even to the 80s. If it does, I'm adding. Just for fun, I'll look at N-Tech as well, since this one's hitting the scanners. Kind of stopped looking at GameStop, but it's not doing a whole lot right now. If anyone knows why that's not working for me, that would be good to know. So CDXC. ASLN coming up a little bit here. 466. ASLN going back down. So it's pretty extended to the downside on the 5-minute chart for ASLN, but yeah, in it with 860 shares short at 488, and if it does come back up to test, you know, maybe 480, even 470 on the 1-minute chart, but I'd probably want it to go higher. CDXC coming down here below the VWAP. I'm interested. So ASLN, can't decide whether it's going to go lower here or consolidate upwards a little bit. So been trading for a little over an hour. Had some excitement with GameStop this morning, but not usually the kind of stock I'd be trading, so didn't really capitalize on it. I was definitely hoping for bigger moves there. I did have a almost $2,000 profit with 101 shares at one point, but I know I saw 1,700. That was pre-market, or right when the market opened, before it crashed down. $70. That was a big move. So CDXC here, the VWAP is at 1236. I'm going to take a small entry on this one here at 12, maybe 1280. So I'm shorting 243 shares at 1280 on CDXC. This is in anticipation if it respects this level on the 1-minute chart and keeps coming down. It is a 5-minute bull flag to the upside, so this is somewhat risky, but I'm not in it with a huge position. Stop will be 1305. So my stop is 1305 on CDXC here, trying to get in before it moves lower. It's had a really nice move here, and it could very well continue. So my stop is going to be 1305. Part of my strategy is just trying to anticipate moves here and getting out with reasonable stops to try and capitalize on a bigger move. Some days, I just stop out over and over and rack up a couple $100 losses. And some days I do that a couple times and then get in and see the move, so stopping out there at 1309. And other days I get in anticipation, so that's 5-minute breakout. So that was definitely not the smartest entry, but worth a shot here with it down below this moving average on the 1-minute chart. So we'll see if this does a nice 5-minute setup to the long side or a failed 5-minute breakout. And if this is a failed 5-minute breakout, then I might try and get in again. But chances are it's it has decent news, so so I'm trading it to the short side, and Robert's trading it to the long side here. Yeah, you can see, it's done this really big move here, and is kind of flattening out from what I see. So it had some nice 5-minute breakouts. This one was okay, and this one was a really good one here. But the farther along we get in the day here, the less likely that you know breakouts to the upside are going to work. So now that it did that kind of failed 5-minute breakout, I'm looking at shorting it here right at $13 on CDXC. We still have 20 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. ASLN continuing lower. CDXC, bigger spreads here, but that was a failed 5-minute breakout right there, so I'm actually adding to this at 1283 for a move lower. So going in with bigger size on CDXC. My average price is $12.93. ASLN has slowly, been coming down. So in two stocks here. Getting back into my routine here. What's a good stop for me on CDXC? So 1310. So it did a failed 5-minute breakout there, which is not a good sign for it continuing upwards, but it could do whatever it wants. So I'm going to get out of my trade on ASLN there. It just looks like it's bottoming out for now, looking at it on a different chart. And I'm going to pay attention to CDXC here. So 1310 is kind of where let's see. So pretty much a break-even day right now, and had some losses on GameStop and ASLN and made both of them back pretty much to break even, and I'm still interested in ASLN and CDXC here, taking riskier entries before it shows that it's going to be trending down. But this 5-minute candle is a good sign of some weakness. So I just shorted my entire rest of my account at 1288 there for this to come lower. So I'm in with 1,243 shares short at 1291 on CDXC, looking for this to make a considerable move lower here. VWAP's at 1241. Average price is 1291. So that's a decent average price here for anticipating this to start trending down on the day. That's anticipating it, not the stock confirming it. So safer entries for me would be, down here at VWAP. But if it does come down to VWAP and, bounce around here and continue lower, and my average price is $12.91, that's 50 cents more that I'm going to get per share on this trade by anticipating. So by taking, I took a trade up here and stopped out and lost $70, but 50 cents doing that, anticipating for that 50 cents with 12,043 shares, I could have $600 more profit here than shorting it at VWAP. So I could have done that. I could have taken that entry and stopped out about 9 times, and it'd still be the same as if the 10th time worked and it came down instead of waiting and getting in here. So I did it once, didn't work, I stopped out. I did it a second time, and so far it's working for me. And I came up with that 9 times because 50 cents with this much is, $620 of profit, and I had a $70 loss here. So what's 650 divided by 70? About 9, right? Thanks, Robert. You're making my day. See? Everyone can benefit from grouping together, and maybe not in the way that Wall Street Bets does, but because, when are they going to sell? What's their plan? I don't know. Very interesting things going on in the stock market. Let's see what AMC is doing. Just below $10 for AMC. There's a completely possible chance here that CDXC I have to stop out of if it comes back up too much here. If it maybe does another 5-minute setup. So if you look here, this nice 5-minute setup it had earlier, it came all the way to the volume weighted average price here. You see how this candle tapped that price and then broke out to the upside and moved up, a whole dollar pretty much, from 12.50 to 13.40 was the high. So CDXC, it could, now that it's pulled back more, like Robert, I think, was trading for this 5-minute breakout, got in at 13, stopped out at 12.80 because it's failed breakout. Now that, at that point it hadn't pulled back as far as it had on these breakouts where it worked. So now that it's pulled back more, it's entirely possible that it would continue up. It just depends on how strong it is and how many people are trading it with, to the long side. So I'm only up 20 cents per share here on this $12 stock. So the high of this last minute candle is $12.96. So I would much prefer if it comes crashing down and breaks below VWAP. But just because I'm in this to the short side doesn't mean that's any more likely to happen. Here we just watching it here. AMC breaking up above the VWAP, or trying to. So AMC could be a good trade. So I'm just going to call this a field trip day. GameStop distracting the entire market. Not as many. I guess there have been quite a few other stocks, in play. ASLN made some considerable moves. CDXC here. SSNT. What is that one doing? Yeah. So maybe this will turn into a longer day here if I'm in a short, because once these stocks break below VWAP, they just tend to trend down throughout the day. So I might be in a trade for a few hours if I get a hold of a short that's working really well. ASLN, I got out of that at 448, and it's still sticking up above 450 here. Dropping down right now below 450. ASLN. So ASLN looks like a nice short now, except for the fact that I have my entire account in CDXC, which is okay. I'm just concerned about this one doing a 5-minute breakout to the upside. So the high of this last candle here is 1283. So if it gets up to 1280 here, then it doesn't have much to go to 1283, and then it's a 5-minute breakout, and then it's 9 more cents up to my price. So we could see this, just jump up. There's 1280, there's 1283, 1288. So that's exactly what I was talking about there. But my stop is going to be 1305 or so, because I don't think this 5-minute breakout will work. I think it's done for the day. So give it a little room to pop up and then reject. So 1310 is my price to stop out here. So far looking like it's going to be a smaller day, which is normal. We have big days and small days. $12.86. So breaking above that level here of the last candle, which is 1283, but then it's dropping back down. So there's not a whole ton of strength here, but it could slowly build up some strength to the long side. So that's what I'm watching, just to be able to get out of it at a reasonable time if it does that. GameStop is above the VWAP. So downwards here on CDXC, selling there. If I had some money available to trade my account, I would be buying GameStop here with 25 shares. It's bouncing off the VWAP. It might come back down through it, but I would have bought GameStop here at basically 139 or 140, just for the possible move higher, and probably a stop at 136 or so. If it holds above the VWAP, plenty of room for this to make some nice moves upwards. So right now, a pretty big battle here on GameStop at this level. So in this trade on CDXC, if it breaks down below 1265, then it should continue down a little bit. 1250, maybe touch the VWAP. I see that level here on the 1 minute chart, how it's pretty much respecting 1265 right here. The lows of these 1 minute candles and some tails on these candles have come down below, but for the most part 165 is the level it's respecting there. And to the upside, this moving average on the 1 minute chart. So 5 minute breakout to the downside would be, oh yeah, so that's also the low of this last candle here. So 1265 is the level to break coming down on CDXC. Watching here, seeing what it does. My price to stop out now is going to be 13.05. Just give it a little bit of room. So watching here. When stocks are slower moving, I don't really mind to put more of my account in it. So that's why I was using 25 shares after the market opened on GameStop, because that's not one to be putting your whole account in. But at this time of the day, as long as you know, I'm actively paying attention, I don't mind putting my whole account in one stock, because I can usually get out without a crazy loss. There will be one trade here or there where it just out of nowhere, you know, moves a whole $0.50 or a dollar instantaneously, but that's few and far between at this time of day. At the market open, that's the norm, but at this time of day, it's not so likely. ASLN. CDXC breaking down below the 1265 level, or trying to. So this could be that move down towards the VWAP. We want to see a bunch of selling come through here on the time and sales. So watching, see a bunch of so it is looking like this is going to be a slow moving trade. Yeah, once we get down below that moving average, the 9-minute exponential moving average here, that'll be good for sure. It hasn't been below that all day. GameStop is forming a nice 5-minute setup right above the VWAP. So if you're watching GameStop, that's a really nice 5-minute setup right above the VWAP. If it doesn't break to the downside, which it's trying to do right now, so here comes CDXC with the break down below 1265. Now we're going to want to see it hold this level. It could, with the way this has been trading, it could take a long time for this to come down and get below VWAP, which is currently 1245. So definitely a slower moving. For a minute here, I was considering taking some profit on CDXC and moving some of that over to a short in ASLN. But yeah, so this is breaking down below 440. But CDXC has plenty of move to come down, plenty of room to come down. It's just a matter of if it's going to do it or not, or if I'm going to stick around long enough for it to do it, which I probably will. But this could become a pretty long long day of trading, long live stream, if I have the conviction to stay in a short trade throughout the day. Because this one opened up at $10 today. Could I take half now and re-short the VWAP break? Sure, I could do that. It does look like it's bottoming out right here, so might not be a bad idea. But ASLN's already making the move that I wanted to get in on that for, so we'll see. Sometimes in my mind I don't take trades just because I think, I should stop, racking up so many commissions. And this isn't looking as great right now in my CDXC short for sure. This candle here coming down to the VWAP there and then coming back up and doing this little breakout here isn't great. So in retrospect, or looking back, I probably should have done what I was thinking, but because this short's probably going to be pretty good. But it's also just fine not to do that. You can look back and say, well, shoot, I should have done this, I should have done that. I should have used every little extra penny I could find and buy GameStop in December. Well, you can go back in time and say all that, but you can't do it. So it's really not useful for me to say, well, shoot, I should have done this, and then let it bother me at all. It's better for me to notice the opportunities that were there and look forward in the future and the market I'm in right at this second and apply it to future situations. If I do that, that's a positive way of thinking and productive. And if I'm looking in the past and saying, why didn't I take, all the money I had and buy Bitcoin a long time ago? So 13, I don't think this one's going to continue much higher, honestly. So I am sticking in this a little bit longer here. Definitely risky. My stop will be 1320, which is right here. It's never maintained that level today. And I think this could just be a little pop here, and it could come back down. Average price of $12.91, so $13.20 is going to be, you know, 350 or so dollar loss if I let it get up there. So might want to scale that back a little bit, but watching here, and risky business here. See what happens. So watching the level 2. Ready to stop out. It's never held above 1320 today. I'm stopping out there. So gave back a couple hundred there. Or, I mean, didn't give back, but lost a couple hundred, which is perfectly okay. It's right now it's a small red day for me. Haven't been connecting. Started out with all my attention on GME, and had some fun with unrealized profit on that one. But yeah, as long as I get in and get out and don't hold on to things too far, then it doesn't matter, because if you look at some of my other days, I do a lot better than this. Let me look at CXW. I am really interested in ASLN. I just really like the way that one's been trading. So the fact that it is pulling back up here, I might be shorting this one. So I put out an order to sell 1,000 shares at 449 here on ASLN. It did a little move down here, didn't maintain below 440, and so I just sold 1,000 shares of ASLN at 447, and I'm looking to add at 450. So added there at 450. On ASLN, I am going to not add right here. I'm going to watch and see if it can so I'm just building a position here on ASLN to the short side. So in with 81% of my account on ASLN here at an average price of 450. So I'm gonna watch this one here and see what it does. It's been sitting below. I am ready to stop out immediately if needed be, but it's sitting below these moving averages. It had a really nice move down, break below the VWAP, and it still has plenty of room to come down, and the news I don't think is too great. So 18 million private placement. I'm not a big expert on like news for offerings and private placements, all that stuff, but I know maybe you guys can tell me what I should be looking at. But this one says at an average price of 352 there. and we're up here at 456. Does that mean anything? What does that mean? Should this stock be coming down towards 352? I'm just shorting it here because it's still extended on the day, and it's been hanging around below these moving averages here, and this is a little bit of a consolidation from a move down there. So if this trade doesn't work, I'll probably call it a day, because I don't want to be digging myself in too big of a hole as far as my P&L goes today. So for the stocks I've been trading, GameStop, especially GameStop, that one was pretty wild, and not looking to have a huge red day. Anything below $1,000 for a red day it's not fun, but it's Tomorrow maybe there'll be better opportunities for me. Maybe I'll execute trades better. So this is pushing up on these moving averages here. So I'm going to be okay if it comes back down. It hasn't really broken up above 460 since it's been down here below these moving averages. This could have been the bottom of the move down today, though. Down at 433. So you win some, you lose some. As long as in the big picture you win more and win bigger than you lose, it's gonna work. So just watching ASLN here. Not looking the best, especially on the 1 minute chart. Up above 460. It does have 10 million shares of volume, but it still has pretty big spreads. 6-cent spread here between the bid and the ask. You asked about CXW. Yeah, that could be a short. If you look on the daily chart, it just came right up to the I have it on a different chart, sorry, but it just came up to the 200 moving average, tapped it, and is, hanging out 14 cents, 13 cents below that. So I don't know if this one would stay up at that level for the rest of the day or not. Let's see. CXW. So ASLN not really doing much here. Still has that big spread. Some orders going through at 452. I don't imagine CXW is gonna do a big pullback towards the downside today. It has a huge float for what I trade. 117 million shares. But don't know. Just watching ASLN here. Had some considerable buying there at 458. Just added 625 shares short here on ASLN. It looks like it wants to break below the 450 level. So truly in with my full account now. Risky, but we'll see. I can always stop out. On the 5-minute chart, it's been below these moving averages here on the 5-minute chart, but in this last move to the upside, when I began shorting it, it's the first time it's, you know, reclaimed this 20 EMA on the 1-minute chart. So that's one thing going against me. But I don't think this stock really has any business being up this high, so on this news. But that's not for me to know. Yeah, so turf about CXW. I can't predict the future. You know, you just got to just got to take the trades, and even if you're right less than 50% of the time, as long as you keep your losses small and stop out and let your winners run a little bit, then you know you're good. I've been trading here for how long? For over 2 hours, and you know, using my account is $16,609, and I've been using, you know, partial and full account size on these trades, and I've been stopping out a lot today, and I'm still not, you know, overall in the day it's not that bad for me, you know. On the good days I've been making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. So, and I'm having way more green days than red days. So this is only possible. Look, what is that? 9 green days and two red days. That's only possible if you keep your stops reasonable and stop out. And on the trades that are going in your direction, you make at least twice as much as you're risking. So if you're going to stop out 20 cents, if you're in a long trade and you're going to stop out 20 cents below your price, then you should logically, looking at the chart and where the stock could go, be able to make 40 cents. And that way you can be right 35-40% of the time and be wrong 60% of the time and still break even. So I'm not really comfortable saying, yeah, CXW isn't going to come down today. I don't know that. No one knows. But if you wanted to take a short trade, it wouldn't really be too detrimental as long as you have a good stop. So this is technically a 5-minute breakout to the upside on ASLN. This stock isn't trading on momentum, so 5-minute breakouts don't mean as much. But with these spreads and the volume being really slow on the day here compared to earlier on, I want to be ready to stop out here. So I have my hands on the hotkeys to get out of ASLN. For CDXC, I definitely could have had a tighter stop there, but I didn't need to because, like I was saying, if you can have your stops so they're 50% of the size of what a potential win could be, CDXC, if it were to come down on the day, has a whole bunch of room. So my stop was reasonable in that regard, but it still gave me my biggest loss so far today, and I'm perfectly okay with that. One of the things that took me the longest to become okay with is stopping out on losing trades, because I along with most humans don't like to lose. And you don't feel as if you've lost until you actually execute the trade to get out of a stock. The realizing the loss is a lot more impactful on us psychologically than just being in the trade when we're in the red. Maybe that impacts me more than some of you, but that's one of the things I have struggled with the most on my my journey to being able to trade the way I have been in this small account challenge. So small little changes in the way you look at trading and psychology make the biggest differences. So ASLN here can't decide what it wants to do. CXW could be a good short. I would probably short it, but so for every 10-cent move upwards on ASLN, if it does break up here, I'm going to be giving back $360 because I'm in with this with 3,625 shares short. So I have to keep that in mind when I'm looking at getting out of this trade if it goes against me. Certainly something to be aware of. So if I stopped out at 465, that would be, you know, 500 something dollar loss. That would put me up at $1,000 in the red on the day. So should I get out of it here? Maybe. Yeah, CDXC definitely going higher. So far this week, today is Thursday, so Monday lost just under 1,000. Tuesday made 3,500. Wednesday, yesterday, made 2,100 after commissions. So on the week right now, I'm up 4,500 or so. Pretty good. Pretty solid. Watching ASLN here. A break down below 450 would be ideal for me, and a break up over 460 would be bad news for me. So we're just sitting here waiting it out. So the bid's now down to 449 on ASLN. I don't know, I'm probably a little tunnel vision on this one because I really liked it earlier for a short, and I still think it's extended on the day. So coming down a little bit there, selling at 449, but the the ask is still 459. CDXC kind of topping out here. It got to a high of 1394 and it's back to 1360. Yeah, so I think I have been a little bit you know, tunnel vision here on ASLN. Don't think it's the best stock to be trading now, but I'm still okay with this trade on it, and it still could have a nice move lower. So yeah, CDXC wasn't the cleanest for trading to the long here. We had, you know, this failed breakout there, then came all the way back here. Let me pull up the chart. I'm just going to watch ASLN on level 2. So CDXC. So definitely a little bit choppy on the 5-minute chart, but this dip down here to the VWAP there, and then ripping up here, that was a nice move for sure. So the only trouble is it had this failed 5-minute breakout, and then it had this one that didn't really work at all here earlier. You know, it did break it, but it was trading down below that price for the next, you know, 10, 15 minutes before it had this really nice break. So I guess the tail on this candle here coming all the way down to, you know, nearly the VWAP here, 1250, was a good indicator of the strength when it, you know, came back up and was about to break out there. GameStop back above the VWAP here, 138, doing a 1-minute breakout at 140. So I'm looking for ASLN to slowly curl over here, but not sure if it'll happen. CXW coming up. LGHL hit the scanners. RVPH hitting the scanners. Low volume. I'll just look at LGHL for fun. What's this one doing? So it's 2.7 million shares of volume. A 7 million share float. Interesting daily chart. So I think either way here on ASLN, when it does make a move up or down, it could easily be 20 cents. So down towards 430 or up to 475, 480. Just doesn't have much volume now though. So not the best stock to be trading. CDXC is just continuing higher, almost at $14. Trying to break over $14 right now. So CDXC is breaking over $14. That one got me the most today. Today I've definitely so yeah, not stopping out soon enough is one of the things I continue to work on, and sometimes have bigger losses because I don't. And the other thing is not taking some profit. So I always need to remind myself that I should take some profit. For example, it's hard to apply it to my trading, like CDXC and such, but GameStop started out this morning with a super nice trade pre-market, and was up $1,700 unrealized profit with 101 shares. So I was up $17 from my price, and I didn't take any profit. And so I can kind of use that, but also GameStop is, you know, the exception. It's not a stock I'm usually going to be trading. You know, hundreds plus dollar stocks I don't really day trade much yet, maybe later on, but that's a little bit out of the equation because, you know, we've seen ridiculous moves on GameStop. But I still easily could have just taken a quarter of my position, half of my position, and that would have prevented me from even becoming red on it when I stopped out. So for sure I need to be taking some profit earlier, not keeping my whole position. I'll probably be reminding myself these things for the rest of my life, or however long I'm day trading, because it's the natural tendency to not want to take profit and let it keep running. I guess for other people, I think Robert mentioned it in a comment. Alright, watching ASLN here to get out. It's not looking good. Okay, so got out at half at 465 there. Let's see if it drops down here. Watching it here. So got out of the rest of ASLN there. So down 1,054 on the day, and it doesn't really bother me, just because of, you know, the trajectory of my trading in this small account challenge. Not a big deal. So I am going to stay here and look around for some other trades, but I'm going to finish. Okay, good to know, Turf. Hopefully it sorts itself out, but keep me updated. Yep, so I always need to be reminding myself of what I need to be focusing on. So taking some profit, and yeah, I was saying, I think on the flip side, some people have, so for me, I tend to not take any profit until after I should have taken some, and if I do take some, maybe it's a quarter position, not a half position. So I want to take more profit after an initial move. I could have taken half a GameStop, had a nice realized and unrealized, and stopped out on the way down, and could have easily been break even if not in a better position on the day. So a $1,000 drawdown in a almost $17,000 account in day trading, not a big deal. So I'm watching CDXC here. This one is definitely having some nice momentum to the long side here. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, on the flip side, um, so I don't take profit soon enough, and other people have a tendency to want to lock up profit right away. So say you get in for a 5-minute breakout, like look at this one right here. Let's say I were to buy right here when it broke out, and then it moves up here to from I got in at 12.80 and it moves up to $13, and I take all my profit off the table. And then look at this, it just keeps ripping higher and higher and higher, and you could have really capitalized on the move, and you took it all off the table. And that's okay, if you take really good setups all the time and you take your profit off early, that's okay. It's still a green trade. It's still good trading, but you're not going to be able to get in on bigger moves. And the days where I make thousands of dollars, it's because I stick it out in to get to capitalize on the full move. So or a good portion of a move. So I'm just watching a CDXC here. It's very extended now, but it's trading with a lot of volume. If you look at this volume profile here, it has a whole bunch of volume here on this move upwards. Way more volume than it's had the rest of the day here. So twice as much volume in these last two 5-minute candles that it's had previously on the day. All right, see you later, Turf. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, it looks like CXW is holding up there at the 200 moving average on the daily chart for now. Okay, so what to do with CDXW? It's very extended here, but it has a lot of strength. So I'm going to be my usual stealth and anticipate it coming back down and take a smaller short position here at 14.79. It very likely could go up and continue above $15, but on the other hand, it is pretty extended here. The 9 EMA on the 5-minute charts, you know, a whole dollar down, 13.79, and this is the biggest move it's been making. So it's breaking above, trying to break above 15 there, trying very hard. If this stock turns parabolic, then it could go way higher. So just watching here at $15. Kind of rejected it for a little bit there. Yep, the FOMO's real, Robert. FOMO's real. So I'm in this with, yeah, really struggling here at $15. So with my 281 shares short at 14.79, it's not great for me here, but it's a small size for my account. So what I don't want to do is add to this as it goes up, because that is risky, because this stock could keep going up and halt. So I'm not going to add to this position unless there's way better indication for me that this stock is going to be coming down. But this is a small position, 25% of my account. So I do have some room to stick in it for a little while and see if it, you know, rejects 15.50, 15.25, or if it turns around right here at $15. Yep. So we got to keep reminding ourselves of you know, good practices, not trading based on FOMO. So I do have a short position right about here, 14.79. It's continuing higher, and I'm waiting for opportunities to add when there's an indication that it's not going higher on this 5-minute move upwards. So at the $0.50 here, so I'm down almost $1 per share on this trade. So this is a, you know, borderline going parabolic here. If this were to go up and get to a price where it's going to be halting at that point, I would be pretty inclined to get out of this trade. If I were in this with more in my account, I would be out of it long time ago. So it looks kind of weak here at $16. It's been, you know, coming straight up for a whole $1.50 pretty much. And what goes up usually comes down sometime. It's just a matter of when. So Robert is waiting for a pullback on this, and I'm definitely waiting for that too. But we'll see what happens here. So this is definitely becoming more parabolic here. If it is going to halt, I'm going to mark it out of it as best I can. Just watching. If it does turn around, it will come back pretty quickly, at least part of this move. So we're seeing there at $17, it's rejecting. Coming back down, almost coming down a whole dollar here, down to 16. So we'll see how much this comes down. So I'm shorting it here for the break below 16. Got out of half my trade there at 15.98, so that was a quick scalp of something like 15 cents there. So I'm still in it here. I think it could pull back a little bit more here, but we'll see. Shorting it for the break of 16 again here. These are risky trades, but this candle on the 5-minute chart is not good for this to continue higher right now, in my opinion. So just watching here, watching the time and sales and the level 2. So not looking good here. Definitely not my best trading here on CDXC. So if this gets to 18, I'm out. So I'm just going to stop here. And so I did just have a pretty big loss there. That's so I'm going to call it a day for today. Even after this, I'm still up over $1,000 on the week. So that is that's how trading goes sometimes if you are taking, high risk trades. Definitely my biggest loss so far of this small account challenge. Relative to my account size though, I don't think so. Back here on, so at this point I'm calling it a day because I'm definitely not going to be in the right mindset to continue trading. This stock at some point is going to be coming down, and I could keep trading and try and wait for a move down, but at this point, when I get down this much on a day, I don't have the best mindset to keep trading. So calling it a day, a little bit unfortunate, but if I bring up my P&L here for the small account challenge, I made more than I lost here on Tuesday. So Tuesday alone makes up for my loss today. If I were here's a very common thing that happens to a lot of people that are day trading. A lot of people, and I have done this numerous times in the past, and I'm not going to be doing it today, is you get to a point. So if I look at this right here, minus $3,200, that can feel pretty bad if you are looking at it and just sitting there like, wow, I just gave back $3,200. I could have taken that, and you can do a lot with $3,200. So in one way, yes, it is a loss, and losses are real, and losses are not good. But losses are a part of trading. I definitely could have avoided that loss. I was being very risky, shorting this stock as it moved up in a parabolic manner. But the key is to not start to revenge trade. And revenge trading is where you get into an emotional state and you get so caught up in the fact that you have lost money and the market took the money from you, blah, 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 and you try and make it back, taking on risky trades, one after another, and pretty much there is a chance of making back $3,200 with a $16,600 account. Isn't that hard on one good trade? It really isn't. I've taken plenty of trades this small account challenge where my account has grown by 40%. Just the first day of the small account challenge right here, my account was at $2,000 and I made $1,300. So if I had been taking those same trades with this account, I would have made $10,000 that day. So there's plenty of opportunity in the stock market, in these small cap stocks, to have big wins, and there's just as much opportunity to have big losses. And the key is to not let your mind trick you into unnecessarily losing large amounts of money. That happened to me today. Just being completely honest, it did happen to me today, but I'm putting a stop to it right now. So I was down on GameStop. Well, I was up a lot unrealized on GameStop. I then made it back eventually pretty much to break even. ASLN, I was down on that. I came back to pretty much break even. And then as I've been, taking my trades, I've been getting a little bit deeper in the red, and up until CDXC, which the entries I was taking here, I think, let me see where I got in. The entries I was taking on this, so 1479 is where I shorted this. So let's see here, 1479. So right here I was shorting this. Look how extended it was there. So yes, it's very extended, and I was trading in anticipation of this turning around. Well, it's not uncommon for stocks to keep going and have these insane moves. Look at this volume ramp up here. So this one just kept going a whole lot more than when I was getting in. I added to my trade and took some profit on a drop below 16, and then it just kept shooting up. I got out at 17, where is it? 1793, all the way up here. And I got out when it got to the point where this stock could be halting and, jumping up $2, $3 in a matter of seconds when halts resume. So if it halted up here at $18 or $19, it would have probably kept going up into the 20s, and at that point I would be, losing half my account just trading one stock, which is really easy to do. So you have to step back. When I'm in the red like this, I'm just going to be talking to myself here. When I start out on the day red, I always need to disconnect myself from my P&L and what's happening in front of me. CDXC, tons of opportunity for profit or loss on this stock. And as I was going into trading CDXC for this last time, I was down $1,000 on the day. So a $1,000 drawdown on my account is pretty much nothing if I'm, making high $1,000s, $2,000, $3,000 a day. A $1,000 drawdown is nothing. It's just, 2 steps forward, 1 steps back. So today, this week, it's been, in terms of thousands of dollars, it's been, 4 steps forward and now 3 steps back. So as my account grows, the wins and losses are going to be bigger in both directions. And I'm not trying to sit here and say that what I was doing up here on CDXC was okay, because if if for example I was break even on the day, if I was watching this stock and I hadn't taken any trades yet, there's no conceivable way in my mind, thinking about it that way, that I would have shorted this at when I was at 14 or 14.79. So the my P&L on the day definitely was getting to me there, and as it went up, it just got more and more painful to as my loss would get bigger, it would be more and more painful. And as it got up here to where I was going to be down 3,000, I had to cut it. And it's better to cut it early than wait and hope for it to come down and have a better price to get out. I could be sitting here like, shoot, I got out at 17.89 and then it came all the way back down here to the 16s, because you can't predict the future, and it could have easily just gone completely parabolic, halting, and up into the 20s. Sometimes stocks like this, they move tens of dollars, 20s, 30s, 40s, and that's great if you're trading it to the long side. But overall in this small account challenge, I've been doing very well shorting. On Tuesday of this week, if you were watching for the first day I live streamed, so you can go look at Tuesday, I made $4,900 in one trade in about 10 minutes shorting a stock. Very different than shorting a stock that's extended to the long side. I was shorting it in a much safer time when it was bouncing off the VWAP and coming down. So notes for continuing forward from today, I'm definitely going to need to, if I'm red on the day and I keep having more red trades, I need to stop using more share size to try and make up for it. To try and make up for my P&L or a bad entry. So if I have a bad I had a bad entry. CDXC, horrible entry. Not horrible because, it was very extended, but I had an entry that ended up being a bad entry on CDXC. But I only had, how much was it? 230 shares? Let's see here. $14.79. So it was something like 225, 230 shares, or maybe 300, somewhere around there. Maybe around 300 shares short of CDXC at 14.79. Even coming up to $18 where I stopped out. I stopped out at 17 something. 17.93. So 15, 16, 17. That's only a $900 loss. Instead, I was down 500 on this, I think. So I lost 200. So by adding to my trade up here to try and make up for my bad entry, to try and have a better price for it to come down, I gave back another $1,000, or lost another $1,000. So not the best. Right now it's pulling back quite a bit here, 16.40. Let's see. If I had yeah, not good. Not good, not the end of the world either. It happens. No, you're good, Robert. I would have been watching this. It's been pretty wild. But I was hitting the scanners a lot, so I would have, my trades on ASLN and GME weren't, weren't very good trades. I think the best trade I could have had today was when I was looking at ASLN to short it right here below the VWAP. I just didn't have the nerve to do it because it wasn't coming back and testing the VWAP. I like when stocks break below the VWAP, and I like to take entries as they're breaking below the VWAP, but I didn't, for some reason today, I didn't want to take that risk. I wanted to see it come up and bounce off the VWAP, and it didn't really take as much time to do that, if I remember correctly. Here's the 1 minute chart. Right here. So yeah, it broke down below the VWAP here at around $5, and it kept coming, and it didn't pull back up. It just didn't have a solid test of the VWAP that I felt, so I didn't get on that one. That one could have been a nice trade though, from $5 down to $4.50, $4.40. So that one would have been a really nice trade for me to the short. And yeah. So not lose my mind on my P&L. I'm actually really happy with myself right now for stopping and being done, because once I have a loss like this, this is 5 times the losses that I've had before, then it's so easy to get into revenge trading and just jumping into one stock after the other. I actually feel completely okay about this loss today, which is good, because hey, 2 days of this small account challenge with a smaller account, I've made more than I lost on this day. It's really not a big deal. Yes, could have done a lot better today, but not the end of the world. Hey Robert, do you struggle with, like, do you ever revenge trade or get into that mindset? It's really easy. I think it's what is the demise of a lot of people trying to day trade. It certainly had me struggling for a long time. There were in the past, I could be up like this and blow up this whole account in a matter of an hour, just getting down like this and then taking trade after trade after trade in frustration. So that's one thing that gets a lot of people that try day trading, is revenge trading. I think that's cool that your biggest days are short squeezes. I also do trade to the long a bunch. It's just in the market we've had, as you were pointing out in a comment earlier, there's been a lot of moves upward and then not continuation on the day after the market opens. So it's nice to see that we're having some moves like CDXC here, where it this stock started at $10. Started at $10 today, and it's up here at 16, and it made it almost doubled on the day here, and had some really nice setups, really nice momentum up here to the long side. Good to hear, Robert. So just sitting here, you would think that when someone loses $3,200, they feel really bad about it, but I honestly don't. I don't feel that bad, because 1 or 2 solid days, and I'll be back above where I started today. It'll definitely, you know, draw out my small account challenge into March. So that's one thing, but at the end of the day, it's not that bad. And the most important thing is to learn. So every day something like this happens, I learn from it. And small improvements here and there, maybe another day where I'm in the same situation where I'm in a stock that's coming up like this, and I'm getting squeezed out of it. Maybe I'll do better because of today's experience and looking back on it, and just knowing what can happen and what to do to mitigate it. So, just to put some things into perspective here, let's look at this. Very tempting to trade this. Very tempting to trade this for if it breaks below the VWAP, but only the best entries. If it breaks below the VWAP and then tests it, maybe a trade. But as of right now, down $3,200. This equity curve up just below 15,000, so down probably 35 after commissions. I'll still be right here at about you know, 11,500 to 12,000 from this account. I started with $2,000 2.5 weeks ago, and after this $3,000 loss, still up 500% on my account, which is really good. So sure, you could look at this like, wow, that was really dumb, really bad. Chris is a bad day trader, but we all make mistakes and we all can learn from them, and the most important thing is to get back up and keep going. So I'm just watching this below the VWAP. So if I were to take another trade, it's going to be an actual good setup. So let's see, on Tuesday, I traded, which one was it? Let me find the stock really fast. DWSN. So DWSN was my killer trade on Tuesday. This was close to the market open, but let's just go back to Tuesday here. Here we go. So this one is more what I try to do as a short trader, is trade stocks below VWAP. So maybe I'm going to stay away from shorting unless below VWAP. So trading based off the VWAP is the best way to do short trades. And as I said earlier, it's about the quality of your trades, not the quantity. So this one on Tuesday, pre-market, it came up here tapped the VWAP 3 times and came back down. So as the market opened, I watched here as it came up, was tapping the VWAP and was shorting it here. I think my average price was 430, and I made a whole lot more than I lost today. Trading this to the downside right there in that 10 or 15 minutes. So I think for shorting, I should try to be more selective about trading based on the VWAP instead of based on stocks being very extended. Because like I said, I think yesterday or the day, so watching this here, small short trade at 1530. I am going to trade this at this point just because it's, you know, trading the VWAP, so it's much safer. And I'm only using a quarter of my account until it comes down, comes back up, tests the VWAP, and is rejecting it. At that point, I could add more. Not in any other situation will I add more. So we'll see what this does at VWAP. It looks like the YouTube video is having some trouble right now. It says it's going to be buffering for some of you, so just watching it here for the VWAP with small size. So it momentarily came down below the VWAP and is now kind of bouncing in between the VWAP and this moving average. Worst case scenario, it does a 5-minute breakout, but it has pulled back a whole lot. Don't suspect it will trade upwards on a bunch of momentum, but we'll see. So it is testing this moving average and kind of bouncing off of it. Moving lower here, coming back below VWAP. So I want to see it move down. I want to see it come back and test the VWAP. And then if it does that and is rejecting, I could add to this. Very, very different trade than a stock coming up, making highs of day, trading on momentum to the upside, shorting it at a level where I think I'm seeing weakness. It continues higher and adding to my positions, short position, to try and make up for that trade. Very, very different trade that I'm taking here as it's trading around the VWAP. So definitely lots of opportunity in the market today. And didn't capitalize on it. So if that's the case, Robert, does that mean you're buying right now on CDXC? Robert says, careful for under VWAP long consolidation. You know, people buying on the lows. Yeah, if you think this is going higher, then buying down here is a great time. It's a really big pullback. Buy low, sell high. But as a short seller on this one, I want to see it break below the VWAP, come down a bit, and test the VWAP, and then reject it. The problem here is it hasn't broken through and held below the VWAP, so might get a move that Robert is looking for. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. So my reasoning on why I wouldn't be trading this to the long now is the fact that it was moving up here on this huge move all the way from $13 up to 1842 is that's just a whole ton of momentum trading here, and the pullback here to VWAP is so big that I don't see it continuing. I don't see this in any way like a normal healthy 5-minute pullback. It came down, you know, from 1842 to 1506. That's just too big of a pullback for me to think this is going to continue much. But I could be wrong. So far it's struggled there, but it is still above the VWAP if you have a long bias. So just under $16 here. Yeah, at this point, with it coming down to the VWAP, coming up here, trying to continue above 16. If it does continue up above 16, then that's pretty good for longs. And if it comes down and breaks VWAP, then don't see it moving higher. So breaking 16 here, fighting at the $16 level. Robert's in at 15.91 long. Shorting here for the break of the VWAP to the downside. So average price is $15.51. And breaking VWAP, trying to break VWAP right here. VWAP's 15.53. So holding the VWAP for now, just barely. Robert got out with a small profit on the move up over, or as it was around 6. So looking like some downward pressure here. There we go. Breaking below the VWAP. So we're going to want to see it stay below the VWAP. This candle closes right now. We'll have a new 5-minute candle. It will probably come up and test the VWAP. So there it is. Oh, ripped right back through to 1560. So lots of indecision here on CDXC. Just watching. Okay, coming up towards 16. All right, that's not good. So, had a very hard time at the VWAP there and kind of bounced up here to 16. So that's a $50 bounce up off the VWAP. All right, that's it. All done. All done. Okay. All right, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Today wasn't a good day, down 4,200, and I'll be working on making my way back up, and we'll be back at it tomorrow morning by 5:15 a.m. Probably shouldn't have started out trading GameStop. Today was kind of like a field trip for me, and then took some bad trades on CDXC here to the short. So be back at it tomorrow, and have a good day. I'm not going to let this get to me too much, because after all, I'm still up $10,000 from $2,000 in my small account. So have a good day. We'll be back at it tomorrow.